0 to 1. Notes on Startups, or How to Build the Future. By Peter Thiel. Chapter number 1. The Challenge of the Future. Future refers to the set of moments that are going to be confronted in the time to come ahead. The importance of future does not lie in that it has not arrived yet, but it will be a moment or time that will look different from what it is present. For instance, if nothing changes in coming 100 years in relation to the society currently, then the future is over 100 years in the time to come. However, if things change within 10 years, then the future is at hand. There are two forms of progress, one, horizontal, and second, vertical. Horizontal, or extensive progress, refers to copying things that work from 1 to n, whereas, vertical, or intensive progress, means doing new things from 0 to 1. However, vertical progress is difficult because of the fact that it requires doing things that no one else has ever done. For instance, if you have built a typewriter, and you make 100 more, then you have made a horizontal progress. If after a typewriter, you have developed a word processor, then you have made a vertical progress. Horizontal progress is also known as globalization, that is taking a particular thing that works somewhere, and making it work everywhere else. The best model of horizontal progress is China, where horizontal progress refers to globalization, vertical progress is referred to as technology. The future depends upon technology, not on globalization. Chapter number 2. Party like it's 1999. The purpose of companies is to make money, and not to lose. Many people firmly believe so. However, in late 1990s, it was not as obvious to people when losses were not considered as too huge, in terms of investment in a bigger and brighter future. The 90s had a good image until the dot-com burst. Peter Thiel, the founder of PayPal, himself witnessed a crash in the technology market, while he was running PayPal. It was not that he didn't believe in his own company, but people around him were acting crazy. They were believing in everything and were starting and flipping companies with alarming casualness. PayPal was considered a grandiose, and was even voted as one of the 10 worst business ideas of 1999, by a journalist. For PayPal to work, they needed 1 million customers as a critical mass. After early struggle, the growth rate became exponential when the company introduced a campaign, where new customers were awarded $10 for each account created. The campaign turned out to be effective, and it attracted plenty of investors. The capital was enough to buy PayPal time to make it a success, before the bubble burst. At the end of the bubble, Peter develops lessons learned that contradict conventional Silicon Valley wisdom, and they were: 1. It is better to risk boldness than triviality. 2. A bad plan is better than no plan. 3. Competitive markets destroy profits. 4. Sales matter just as much as product. Chapter number 3. All happy companies are different. Consider the airline industry, which has created a lot of value, but few companies can make a profit. Compare this to Google, that is creating less value, but is keeping the profits. Google makes so much money, that it is worth more than 3 times the value of all American airlines combined. Economists explain this by categorizing Google as a monopoly. Google makes high profit, as consumers would have to pay a higher price for goods and services. Compare this to the airlines industry, where there is a perfect competition. Most of their profit is washed away by the fierce competition prevailing in the market. Google is one of the best examples of monopoly. It does not have to constantly focus on competition, but can focus on innovation. The lesson is clear. If you want to keep high profits and want to progress, you should build a business that is a very unique competition, where no one else could enter. Chapter number 4. The ideology of competition. Competition makes no profits for anyone. But why do so many people like the idea of competition? Unluckily, it is an ideology that our education system preaches more than anything else. The best students get good grades and prestige if they solve the same assignment as everybody else. The competition continues and becomes even fiercer in higher education. The best of the best students are typically rewarded with conventional and non-innovative jobs, in law or management consulting. Therefore, opportunity costs for society are enormous, as everyone is thinking alike. Chapter number 5. Last mover advantage. If you escape competition, it can give you a monopoly. Even if your business becomes monopolistic, it needs to endure future challenges in order to survive. If we compare New York Times Company and Twitter, both of them employ a few thousand people. The purpose of both of them is to give news to millions of people. However, when Twitter went public in 2013, it had a value of $24 billion. It is more than 12 times what New York Times market capitalization was. The surprising thing is that Times ended up making $133 million in 2013, while Twitter lost a lot of money. What was the secret behind such a huge loss of Twitter? It was the cash flow that allowed Twitter end up bearing the loss. It is quite surprising that Times was able to make lots of profits, while Twitter could not. Therefore, a great business is one which has the capability to generate cash flows in the days coming ahead. Some high-growth companies might be losing money in the early years, and have the potential for significant cash flows in the next 10-15 years. PayPal and LinkedIn are examples of this. Moreover, investors anticipate that Twitter will be able to make lots of profits over the next decade, while newspapers will lose monopoly. In other words, the current value of a business is the sum of all the money it is likely to make in the days coming ahead. For a company to be valuable, it must both grow and endure. It is suggested to focus on short-term growth, because it is easy to measure. That is why many companies focus on monthly revenue charts and quarterly earnings reports. The most important question to ask is, will this business sustain itself around a decade from now? Numbers alone will not give you the answer. You must critically think about qualitative characteristics. Chapter number 6. You are not a lottery ticket. What is the secret behind the success of a business? Is it luck, or skill? Many celebrities including Bill Gates and Warren Buffett argue that luck has a big influence on their success. However, a few, like Steve Jobs, Jack Dorsey, and Elon Musk, have created several multi-billion-dollar companies. If success was a matter of luck, these kinds of entrepreneurs probably wouldn't exist. Neither Bill Gates won the intelligence lottery nor Sheryl Sandberg was born with a silver spoon. The important question to ask is it a matter of chance or design? Peter Thiel says that Steve Jobs is the proof that you can create your own success. The main lesson to learn from Steve Jobs was that he envisioned and executed long-term plans to distribute innovative products. You can change the world through careful planning, not by listening to focus groups, feedback or copying others' successes. Success begins by rejecting the unjust tyranny of chance. Remember, you are not a lottery ticket. Chapter number 7. Follow the money. The biggest cities dwarf the surrounding smaller cities. Monopolies grasp more profit than combining a majority of competitors. Money follows the same pattern. As an investor in venture capital, you should not over-diversify, as the returns are not normally distributed. For example, some companies will fail, more companies will stay flat, and a few superior companies will potentially return 10 times their initial investment. In reality, the investor should focus on the few superior companies that get exponential results. Just as Peter Thiel's investment in Facebook vastly outperformed the combined return of all the other investments in his fund. Chapter number 8. Secrets. Why do so many people believe that there are no secret to be revealed anymore in the world? Just 150 years ago, a lot of the world had not revealed itself to anyone. Today, just by watching the Discovery Channel, everybody can see even the most remote locations from their couch. There are plenty of secrets to be revealed, but if you don't believe you can't find secrets, you will never find them. The best place to search for secrets is to look where no one else is searching. Most of the people do not look beyond from what they have already been taught during their formal academic studies. If you find a secret, you can either go on to tell everybody about it or hide it from everyone. The choice is completely yours. The sign of a great business is that it is built around a certain secret that people outside cannot see. Chapter number 9. Foundations. Founding a company is just like building a house. You can't build it on a flawed foundation. The first critical decision when building a company is whom you start it with. Choosing a co-founder is like getting married, and founder conflict is just as ugly as a divorce. When investing in a company, you should consider the founding team. Technical skills matter, but how the founders work together is just as important. The founders of your company are not the only one to keep up well with one another. But everyone in your company must work together in harmony. You should build a team so that you can successfully go from 0 to 1. If you want people to be fully committed to your company, you must compensate them. If you add an element of bonus, it could be better than a salary. It is like a feedback to the employees that they are doing very well, and it also helps to motivate them further. Companies that are valuable are open to invention, which leads a company to create new things, and it ends when there is no creation. If the founding moment of your company is right, it can do wonders. Chapter number 10. The mechanics of mafia. The first team Peter Thiel built has been known as the PayPal Mafia. The reason is that so many of his previous colleagues have later helped each other with the foundation of a variety of great companies including Tesla, LinkedIn, and YouTube. The strong culture that originally shaped PayPal was not assembled by hiring the most talented people from a pile of applicants. Instead, it was assembled by people of similar interests and work ethics, and they had a very common goal they were working towards. As an employer in a startup company, you should know the answer to the following question. Why should a 20th employee work for you? Talented people do not need to work for you. They have plenty of options, and could likely work for a higher pay, in a more prestigious company, elsewhere. If you don't know that reason, the importance will not be unique, and you won't get the right talent. Chapter number 11. If you build it, will they come? If you build something, the customers will not come to you straight away. You have to put lots of efforts to make it happen. If your product is different, it does not guarantee sales right away. If you have a superior sales and distribution process, it could lead your business towards monopoly. Even if people like your product immediately, you must have a strong distribution system. Some people are skeptical about advertising. They shouldn't be. Advertising works on everybody, and if you don't acknowledge it, you're deceiving yourself. Startup companies should resist the temptation to compete with conventional companies. Instead, they should focus on viral marketing that can lead to exponential growth. Chapter number 12. Man and Machine. Will a machine replace you? Many people are concerned that machines will replace them in the future. Self-driven cars, for example, may replace taxi driver. Computers are complements for humans, not substitutes. Men and machines are good at different things. When you combine the strength of machines with the strength of people, you will end up with something great. Most valuable businesses in the future will enable people, not remove them. People can form plans and make informed decisions, but can't comprehend a lot at once. Similarly, computers can take care of large amounts of data, and can multitask, but can't make good judgments. Remember that computers are tools, not rivals. Chapter number 13. Seeing Green. At the start of the 21st century, everyone agreed clean technology was the next big thing. However, clean technology failed. Almost 40 manufacturers filed for bankruptcy in 2012. They looked at the overall market and thought they could strike gold if they capture a fraction of the market. Being a small fish in the big sea is not a good approach. In this chapter, Peter lists 7 questions every founder should answer before starting a business. 1. Can you create a breakthrough technology? 2. Is it the right time? 3. Are you starting with a big share of a small market? 4. Do you have the right team? 5. Do you have a way to deliver the product? 6. Will your market position be defensible 10 to 20 years from now? 7. Have you identified a unique opportunity that others don't see? Chapter number 14. The Founder's Paradox. This chapter is about why it's more powerful, but at the same time more dangerous for a company to be led by a distinctive individual, instead of an interchangeable manager. Some people are strong, some are weak, some are genius, some are dullards, but most people are in the middle. But that doesn't capture the strangest thing about founders. A normal person can't be both rich and poor at the same time, for instance. But it happens all the time to founders. Startup CEOs can be cash poor but millionaires on paper. Where does this strange and extreme combination of traits come from? They could be present from birth, by nature, or acquired from an individual's environment. What is the core message that we got from this book? It is hard to say what the future will look like, when even the most far-sighted founders can't look more than 20 to 30 years ahead. We can't take for granted that the future will be better, and it means that we need to start changing that today. Our task today is to find singular ways to create new things, that make the future not only different, but better by looking at everything as if it were new. We need to go from 0 to 1.